It's the NFL schedule release. We got some leaks coming in all over the place. We have the week 1 schedule that already dropped. That gives us something to kind of hang our hat on and look forward to as we move through late spring into the summer, and obviously when the autumn winds start coming in September. And we all have now something to look forward to. I believe 120 days until the week 1 Thursday night NFL kickoff opener, which is the America's team, Dallas Cowboys. I know it's so cringy to say, but people still do use that. The Dallas Cowboys head to Tampa to play the defending Super Bowl champions, and that game should be great. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys, huge media focus, huge fan base, fan following, and of course, Tom Brady and the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Bucks to kick off the season. Great game to start the year off with. A lot of different leaks. We have the whole NFL week 1 schedule. We'll throw up there in a bit and kind of go through some of the hot games, some of the games that are a little iffy, give you the odds. We'll open up. We'll take your phone calls if you guys want to jump in and tell us which game on at least the week 1 slate that you're already looking forward to, you have circled, or maybe you're going to go to one of those games. So if you want to give us a call and hop on the show, early morning, we're kind of going free flowing, so you could be a part of the show. 914-424-2864. Give us a call, hop on the show. As always, hit up the little chat we have going on here. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't. Download the uSTADIUM app. Follow us everywhere. That's at uSTADIUM, Twitter, Instagram. Download the uSTADIUM app. As I mentioned, you can get it on the Google Play and the App Store. But forget all that stuff. Let's get right into the week 1 schedule. And the first thing I noticed, obviously, besides the Thursday night matchup, which is a great one, there's a lot of really good games there on the schedule. Obviously, a lot can change, and which rookie quarterbacks will be starting. Does that Bears-Rams game have a little bit more excitement on Sunday night if Justin Fields is in as opposed to an Andy Dalton? Obviously, we all would say yes here, but right off the top here, Seahawks at Colts, interesting game. 2 playoff teams. Even that Jaguars-Texans, if Deshaun is playing, obviously it's 2 teams that are probably going to be at the bottom of the pecking order in the NFL. But Trevor Lawrence versus Deshaun Watson, 2 Clemson superstars. Lawrence's first game. Steelers-Bills. I mean, 2 AFC kind of powerhouses. I know the Steelers slipped a bit last year, but that game, 2 historic franchises. Awesome game off the bat. Cardinals-Titans. Cardinals are, a potential playoff team. I know they went 8-8 last year, but there's a lot of intrigue to them. And the Titans losing a few key players and their offensive coordinator. We'll see where they kind of move on to. And then I love that Chargers-Washington game. I think those are 2 playoff teams this year. Justin Herbert against that really strong defense. We'll see who's at quarterback for Washington by the time week 1 comes. Panthers, Jets, obviously the Sam Darnold, Robbie Anderson, Trenton Cannon revenge game. Matt Rule, who was so close to being the Jets coach in 2019, I believe it was, when they hired Gase. Obviously, Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson's first game. There'll be a lot of intrigue. Obviously, Jet fans, myself included, we're looking to see where and who the Jets were going to be playing week 1. We have some Jets schedule information we'll get into as the show goes along, Giants stuff as well. That all leaked a little bit, so we'll get into that. And then go over everybody loves Thanksgiving football, obviously. We'll get into that as well. But Dolphins, Pats, 2 potential playoff teams. Browns, Chiefs, I mean, right off the bat, week 1, that's a powerhouse game. The Browns are no joke. I think they're going to be really good. They had a great offseason. Free agency was awesome. The NFL had one of the best drafts. And then obviously on the other side, the Chiefs with their revamped offensive line. But the 2 things that I don't want to be like negative right off the bat, but the 2 primetime games I didn't exactly love. Rams, Bears. Again, if Fields is in, it's a little more exciting than Dalton. And then Ravens at Raiders. I mean, I know they want to hype up the new stadium out there in Vegas. Obviously, it opened last year, but with no fanfare. This year, they just announced yesterday, and through different people that I spoke to within the league, they're expecting 100% capacity at every stadium by the time the fall comes, and obviously mask mandates. I don't know how they'll be able to do a 6-foot, boundaries between people, but we'll see. But Rams, Bears, Ravens, Raiders. Right now we have the week 1 odds from Canby. I guess they're a Vegas sports book. Right off the bat, 6.5-point favorites, the champs over the Cowboys. It's a lot in week 1. I mean, the Cowboys will get Dak back and they could score. You always look for big week 1 odds because obviously It's a three-game preseason this year. They took one off and added one to the regular season. So we have an 18-week, 17-game schedule this year. That 5.5 Chiefs Browns is interesting. Denver road favorites against the Giants. I like the Giants on that one. Let's see any other intriguing odds. Bills giving 6.5 at Pitt. That's a big line too. So again, if betting is your thing, we're going to be doing a ton of betting and fantasy stuff, content, different games and stuff on the uSTADIUM app. As always, check that out.
Nick, give us picks for week one. Nick, give us all your picks for week one.
All these games already?
Let's go. Come on. Let's see your record. I'm gonna write them down right here.
All right, keep tabs. Ready? Tampa versus Dallas. You want the spreads too, or just head to head?
Do with the spreads. Oh,
okay. I'll take Dallas getting 6.5. I'll take Minnesota laying 2.5. I'll take San Fran. That's a tough one. I'll take San Fran giving 7. I will take Indy laying 2.5. I'm sorry. I'll take Seattle getting 2.5. I will take the Chargers getting 1.5. I'll take. This is crazy to do on May 12th. I'll take Arizona getting 2.5 at home. I'll take Pittsburgh getting 6.5 at home. I like the Bills outright, but I like that Bills points. Atlanta Philly is a tough one. I'll take Philly getting 3.5 at home. Jacksonville Houston. If Watson's there, I mean I'll take Houston, but if not, no, I'll take Houston anyway. Jets. I'll take the 5 points against Carolina. I think that's a field goal game. Dolphins Pats. I'll take the Pats 2.5. Favorites at home. I will take the Giants getting 1.5 at home. I will take the Chiefs laying 5.5. I'll take the Rams laying 7, and I will take the Ravens laying 5.5. So the May 12th, we don't even know who's starting at quarterback for like a third of these teams already, but Frank put me on the spot, so I might as well hop in there with those picks.
You're going 35%.
You like those, Frank?
35%.
Hey, I'll take it.
I wasn't. Actually, I like that you took the Jets. I can't believe the Jets are
it's
getting
a big
5
spread,
points.
Man.
That's
Carolina's
crazy.
Nothing special. I mean, look, if it's the Sam Darnold from the last 3 years, I mean, the guy's terrible. Let's be honest. So it's way too early. 5 points. You don't even. I mean, to have week 1 odds now is crazy anyway. But just having some fun here. But regardless, I thought the week 1 schedule is awesome. I thought there were some really fun games to kind of, sink your teeth into and look forward to. It gives you a 4-month kind of period here to talk about everything we got going on. But we have our first guest here to the show, rocking the big blue polo right there. I like it, Zach. What's going on, man? Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? The NFL draft is my Christmas. So I guess schedule release is my New Year's.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What about Thanksgiving, though? I think for me, it's like Christmas is number 1, and then I think Thanksgiving, which we'll get into the Thanksgiving slate. I think that's number 2 on the list. I'm not a big New Year's guy, but I hear you.
Thanksgiving is just a group of angry New Yorkers sitting around a television and harassing the Cowboys through our screen for 3 hours.
That's true. So what? You got the Giants home schedule here? I think you want to kind of run through that quick.
Art Stapleton of the New York Post is filling it out quickly.
Yeah.
But what we know is they open up at 4:25 p.m. against Denver. Now, before we look at that, we're like, why is that the big NFL game of the week for Fox? I think Fox is completely hedging their bets because they also have Green Bay and New Orleans.
I didn't even think of that.
So Fox is Green Bay and New Orleans and New York and Denver in that same slot. And I think
you're talking about Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. I think Buck and
did not even think of
wherever Rodgers goes.
That is interesting because a lot of people were saying, like, obviously different conferences, no real rivalry. I saw, shout out to Henry from Jets Island was got me digging into the conspiracy of like the September 11th anniversary where the Giants played the Broncos the night before, and then the Jets played the Colts, and they had them on their schedule. So I was kind of riding with that. I was tweeting about it last night, but I did not even think for a second that the Aaron Rodgers possibility there, and that would be crazy. I mean, Giants against Rodgers, who the Giants do really well with against Rodgers.
Well, the Giants have a history against Aaron Rodgers, but to get further in, I'm thankful in this regard. They get their Thursday nighter out of the way immediately. Week 2 is the New York Giants in Landover against the Washington football team. And then from there, Week 3 is confirmed a home game against Atlanta. Then we don't know weeks 4, 5. We do know week 6 and 7 home against the Rams and then the Carolina Panthers. Halloween, week 8, we do not know. Week 9, we do know that is a home game against the Las Vegas Raiders. The bye is week 10. Week 11, they are on the road in prime time against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Week 12, this is the one that New York Giants fans are so excited for. Home against Philadelphia after everything that happened last year. That's going to be circled on the calendar. 13 and 14, I know they are in Chicago for one of those two. Could have potential massive draft implications with the Giants having the Bears first. We don't know there.
Playoff implications, man. Let's be positive here.
Playoff implications. Week 15, the Cowboys come to the Meadowlands. Week 16, the Giants are in Philadelphia. 17 is open, and then Washington comes to East Rutherford. Week 18, that still feels weird to say.
I know.
It's interesting because the Giants have a very easy, on paper, home schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Their road schedule is brutal. Kansas City's still in there. Miami's in there. The Chargers aren't going to be a pushover. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the saying is what? You got to win your home games and then hope to play, 500 on the road, and you're a playoff
home
team.
Games,
so.
and most importantly, the division's always winnable.
Of course. I mean, this is going to be a division, the NFC East, that, was the butt of all jokes last year. But I think each team really, even the Eagles, who people kind of laughed at when they traded Wentz, I thought they had a really good draft, and I thought they added some nice pieces in free agency in Eric Wilson and Anthony Harris, 2 Vikings, to come over and help kind of rebuild the defense.
That is
I think they're going to be improved that division, but I think it's going to be a division that's won by at least. I think it's going to be one that could be that Giants-Washington game week 18, which is crazy to say, could decide it all. I think it's going to be a one-game kind of difference between maybe winning the division and not even making the playoffs at all. So it's going to be crazy. Yeah.
You always see a different team win that division every year. I don't think it's been a repeat team since 08-09, but going way back, I like Washington in the division. I think Dallas is not good. I love their offense, but unfortunately, I don't think Mike McCarthy is the answer there. And I don't trust their defense. Like, teams are going to be able to boat race the Cowboys. I see Dallas losing a lot of the games we saw them lose when Garrett and Romo were there, which is they score a lot of points and then the other team gets the ball down 3 or 4 with a minute and a half to go and goes the length of the field on.
Yeah, it's true. And then now they make you guys wait until November to kind of get your revenge against the Eagles, who you guys have been waiting for, what is it, 6 months now, 7 months. So you'll have to wait almost a full year to get to the Eagles. But all right, cool, Zach. I appreciate you having on. Give me a quick record prediction. Obviously, the 17 game, so it's not a
quick record prediction for
the G-men.
Oh boy, I'm gonna go. Well, if it's 10-6 in a 17 games set, I'm going to go 11-6. I am more confident in that I've been than usual. But the last thing I want to say, I'm looking at week 1. Please stop putting the Chicago Bears in primetime.
I know.
I don't want to watch Andy Dalton get mauled by Aaron Donald the first week of the season.
Yeah, look, I get it. There's some intrigue with Justin Fields potentially, but I mean, the Bears historically are just a very kind of boring team, to be honest. They're kind of like the Jets, in my opinion. They're very similar teams. It's like nobody's really dying. I know they made the playoffs last year, and I know they've been better than the Jets have in the past, but nobody's dying to see the Bears on primetime week 1. Let's see what they are, and then they could flex these games later in the season if Fields is playing well. I think they could have done a better job than
as
that.
Long as you have the Chicago market, and as long as you have Khalil Mack, they're going to be relevant enough where Goodell's going to schedule them in these big games. But why are you putting the Bears over? I mean, you literally have Chiefs and Browns. That's unbelievable. That's a playoff game last year that you're getting back.
Yeah, it's true. Before we let you hop off, Zach, is the Bears home or the Rams home?
It's at SoFi. It's in Los Angeles.
So that's what they wanted to do. They just wanted to promote these two. They want to promote this LA thing. They want to promote this Vegas thing. The 2 new stadiums. They didn't have fans last year, so I mean, I get it, and that's who they just kind of filled in there. But I appreciate you hopping on, giving us the Giants rundown, and we'll talk soon, man. All right, so we got the Giants kind of leaks out of the way. It's funny how the New York teams really get their leaks in first. It's the New York media is crazy. I can give you guys quickly the Jets rundown, and then we'll get into more of like touchdown week 1. We'll get into some of these prime time, these holiday games, which everybody loves, and take your calls again, 914-424-2864. Tweet at us at uSTADIUM on Instagram, on Twitter, uSTADIUM on Instagram. Drop your comments in the app. Put them in the chat here, and Frank behind the scenes will throw them up. And I'm sure at some point Frank will hop on and show his pretty face in the morning too. But going through the Jets schedule here, I have it on my phone, so sorry if I'm kind of reading on the phone. I don't mean to be like Michael Kay and the ESPN show and not look at the camera when we're doing a show, but I don't know it by heart yet. So week 1 at the Panthers, 1 p.m. Darnold, as we just mentioned, Robbie Anderson, Jets, new coach, new quarterback again, which feels like an every other year kind of thing. Week 2, we don't know yet. Obviously, you think it's a home division game, maybe the Pats, maybe the Dolphins, maybe the Bills, because then they go on the road to Denver at 4:05. That's week 3. Week 4, we don't know yet. Then week 5 is the Jets at Atlanta in London. So the 9:30 games are back right now. Obviously, as long as COVID kind of stays on the mend where it is, we'll have all-day football in week 5 and 6. As there's 2 London games, the Jets at the Falcons at 9:30. It's a home game for the Falcons, so the Jets do get, this year with the 18-week, 17-game schedule, the AFC teams all get an extra home game, and then next year it's going to be the NFC teams. So the Jets get the benefit of having 9 home games, 1 neutral site game, which is this, obviously the London game. It's a pain in the ass to fly out to, but the Falcons have to do it too. And then they only have 7 real road games. You can obviously count this Falcons one as a road game, but it's more of a neutral site. So they do get the benefit there. If everything follows what it usually is, the bye week is going to come week 7 after the London matchup. Then they have the Thursday night against the Colts, week 9 in Indy. That's an 8:15 Thursday night game. And then week 16 is the game that I saw a lot of Jet fans were upset about, and even the Jaguar fans, was why do you put the Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence matchup, picks 1 and 2, all the way at week 16, where both teams probably aren't going to be very good. This game probably won't have much of an intrigue as, let's be honest, Jets and Jaguar fans aren't really expecting a playoff season. They're expecting, an improvement over a 1 and 2 win season, obviously, but don't think any of these 2 teams realistically expect to make the playoffs. So rather than putting this game earlier in the year when you can kind of build some hype around it, putting it at week 16 where both teams may be like, 5 and 10 at the time or whatever, 5 and 9. And, that you have that little bit of hope of a playoff run kind of out of the picture. Maybe they're thinking it's the opposite, that both teams are going to be pretty bad. So at least we'll have something to look forward to here. But I thought they missed a little bit of an opportunity to put Wilson, Lawrence head-to-head earlier in the year. But we'll see where these continue. The leaks continue to come in. And obviously the full schedule will be announced, I think, 7:45 or 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. I'm sure by then we'll have almost all of the leaks in. But
Nick, you know what's going to happen?
Tell me, both are in the playoffs?
When week 16 rolls around, the Jets are going to be playing for a playoff spot, and the whole world is going to know that Zach Wilson at that point was the better quarterback.
Hey,
Zach Wilson was the better quarterback, and he will be the better quarterback going forward. We will be at week 16, and everyone's going to be all over Zach Wilson, calling it right now.
Hey, I hope so, man. I'm with you on that. New York's Finest says, I think that's how you say it. Fine. Yeah, I think so. Love Wilson Lawrence matchup end of season to see how these guys develop. That's true. You'll get to see, kind of the rookie rust wear off a little bit. These guys will be more comfortable within the system, comfortable with their playmakers. Obviously, he'll be 15, 14 games into their rookie season. So almost a full season in. So that gives you a little bit more of a legit kind of resume instead of maybe like a week 2 or 3 matchup where these guys are basically newborns in the NFL. So it's actually a good point. New York Finest. That's a good one. Martino. Oh God, Frankie. Hey, I mean, what good is a schedule release and to get excited about if you don't have any kind of positivity running through you at this point? So I guess we can kind of transition from the New York football teams. And again, if you guys want to call in and talk about your schedule, your team, 914-424-2864. Today we have Lambeau Leapers. Alex is going to go through the Packers schedule. Obviously all the stuff going on with Rodgers. Then we have Play Like a Jet Live, who's going to go through the entire Jet schedule. That's, I believe, at 6:30 this evening Eastern time. So stay tuned for those two shows. Time Out with uSTADIUM will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'm sure we'll touch on the schedule too if everybody's not bored of it already. But we'll be back with myself, Frank, and Brianna. And let's switch gears now, Frank, over to the Thanksgiving game. I mean, I know that's obviously one of my favorite days of the year, my favorite 3 games of football. And, the first two are the first one at 12:30, Bears Lions. I mean, they got to do it. I'm not one who's like, get the Lions off, of Thanksgiving. They're terrible. I think it's a really cool tradition of Lions Cowboys having, each game. So I just wish they could do a little bit better here. It feels like the Bears are playing the Lions every other year on Thanksgiving. Again, we have to watch the Bears in not a primetime game, but a national game that everybody's going to be watching, a standalone game. So that one, while it's traditional NFC football, which again, I'm a traditional football fan, so I'm okay. I just wish there was a little bit more spice to that. Raiders, Cowboys, again, we have to see the Raiders on a standalone game. Cowboys, Raiders, 2 big fan bases. Obviously, that's the draw there. But the night game, the Bills, Saints, I mean, that's by far the best game on the slate and the Thanksgiving slate there. Both teams should be in a playoff run at that point. It'll be like, week 13, I believe, is Thanksgiving, or, give or take. We'll see what the Saints are, obviously, without Drew Brees, with Jameis Winston, or who knows who'll be playing quarterback at that point. And obviously the Bills with Josh Allen, and that offense is one of the better ones in the league. So that one's going to have, as long as you get that tryptophan nap out of the way after, maybe take your nap during that Raider Cowboy game and get yourself ready for round 2, or in Frank's sake here, round 3. Warm up some leftovers and watch that one. That should be a good one. And then this year we have I think a standalone Christmas Day game, which is a Saturday, because I think week 16 is the 26th, which is the day after Christmas, and Boxing Day across the across the water in London and in the UK. So I know we have a lot of UK fans who are saying, "Oh, I'm excited for the Boxing Day week 16 schedule on a Sunday." But the standalone Christmas Day game is another really good one. Obviously, depending on who's playing quarterback for the Packers, it's Browns at Packers at Lambeau, Christmas Day. I mean, that just gives you all the feels, right? The football feels, the Christmas feels. So that should be a really good one. If the Thanksgiving games don't really get you excited, that one should be 2 playoff teams. And yeah, Martino doesn't like the Thanksgiving games. The 2 early ones you're not crazy about. The night game has a potential to be a really good one. So anytime the schedule release comes out, you look for primetime games, Sunday night, Monday nights, Thursday night slate, and then obviously the Thanksgiving game is always a big one to look forward to. So we're early here still. I don't even think it's just barely 11 o'clock on the East Coast, super early on the West Coast. So these leaks will be coming in throughout the day. And as we go, throughout the day leading up to tonight, 7:45, 8 o'clock, when they drop the whole schedule, we'll have that to kind of chew through tonight. But obviously getting some leaks coming through, the primetime games, the holiday games, which is always fun. And follow the uSTADIUM Twitter, obviously, to uSTADIUM Instagram. We'll be posting when the leaks come in the uSTADIUM app store, Google Play Store. Shoot us a review in the App Store, sub here on YouTube. Obviously, I got to go through the gambit here and go through all of that. But Mike says, Frankie, we both know the Jets-Jags Bowl in reality is going to be a tank bowl, and see who has a 6th overall pick and not a playoff spot. I mean, hey, both teams are in the infancy of their rebuild. Obviously, with both having 2 picks in this last draft, getting their franchise, what they hope, quarterbacks, new coaches. So Urban Meyer, Robert Saleh, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. There's obviously some intrigue behind that game, and Mike's a big Jags fan who covers a lot of the content there. Mike, if you want to hop on the show, I don't know if you're out of bed yet or whatever, but if you want to give us a rundown of what the Jags got early on, obviously feel free to hop on the show. If you guys want to call in, as you can see on the bottom here, this ticker, call in to chat, 914-424-2864. Gladly let you hop on and talk about your schedule. Sal says, if Aaron isn't playing for Green Bay, then all their games are going to be boring. I mean, maybe. We'll see. I mean, who knows what Jordan Love is? Was a first-round pick, traded up for him. I know the Packers say that they aren't overly excited to get him in early on. And obviously they're saying that to, soften the blow to Aaron Rodgers. And Rappaport said yesterday that they offered Rodgers a huge extension. And there's been a little bit of a acceptance of it on the Rodgers camp side. So in my opinion, and look, I have no inside information on this at all. I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. Zach did bring up a good point that they're hedging their bet on Rodgers landing in Denver because that seems like the likely spot if he is dealt. I just don't see it happening. I just see it as another Russell Wilson where every year he's complaining about something to get a little bit more of what he wants and just to kind of make it seem like they love him and, surround him warm and cuddly just to kind of, make him feel better. And at the end of the day, he ends up back there and he plays great again. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, that's what happens with Rodgers in Green Bay, and he's back there week 1 for that Saints matchup. Frank, if you could bring up the week 1 schedule again, because there were a few of the late games that we didn't kind of run through. There are some good ones on there. Damn, he's on point. Look at that. Yeah, there it is. The Browns, Chiefs, Packers, Saints. 2 great games, both on CBS and Fox. I mean, Broncos, Giants is obviously interesting if Rodgers is there. Dolphins, Pats are 2 potential playoff teams, but I really like that Browns, Chiefs game because I really buy the Browns. It's crazy to say. But that offensive line, the rushing attack, the defense is they've added so many players on that defense. And the Chiefs, obviously, with that new revamped offensive line, I mean, they've done crazy things in Kansas City to fix that line. Obviously, we saw the Super Bowl and Mahomes was really beat up, and Andy Reid wasn't going to let that happen. So I think they replaced like 4 of their starters from last year, which is crazy. Joe Thuney, Orlando Brown, drafted Creed Humphrey, took Trey Smith in like the 6th round. I doubt he'll start, but that guy's got starting potential for sure. So, Frank, you said you have the strength of schedules too. If you want to throw whatever you got up there, Frank, and we'll kind of go rogue and just go through it. Toughest strength of schedule to easiest. The Steelers have the hardest schedule based on strength of schedule. Obviously, things will change, but Steelers, Ravens, Bears, Packers, Vikings have the hardest. And at the bottom, technically the easiest schedule on paper, Eagles, Cowboys, Falcons, Bucks, Dolphins, and in the middle of the pack there, you have Texans, Chargers, Jaguars, 49ers, Jets. It's always interesting to see. Again, we're projecting so much now. It's like I said, May 12th. We are 4 months, almost to the 4 months to the day is week 1 Sunday. So much is going to change. Is it 4 or 5 months? I don't even know. Can't even count. So much is going to change again. We don't know who's starting at quarterback for a third of these or fourth of these teams. Injuries happen. We still good quality free agents out there. Trades always happen before week 1. So who knows if, a team like the Broncos make a trade for Aaron Rodgers, that's going to affect all of this, right? So, but, based off of strength of schedule as we sit right now, which we know all of the opponents, we know in advance, obviously. But that's really how that shapes up now. The mood in Philly, what's that, Frank? You hopping in to tell me something here? I don't even think we could fool around with this dude anymore. I mean, if what they're accusing him of is true, I mean, it's just kind of putrid. But Frank's got a fascination with this dude. Should have known something like that was coming up on a pop-up live show like that. But hey, you got to roll through it. Dan Hackett, I'm a Pittsburgh native, and I think this is the first year Tomlin gets a losing season in the schedule. Yeah, and Tomlin just got himself an extension, and Ben's here for another year. Juju's here. I saw something interesting the other day, and I think Mike posted it on the app, which is the the salary cap projection for the 2022 offseason. And Pittsburgh has the most cap available, where they were way at the bottom this year. So, this offseason, they were able to bring back Ben and bring back Juju. They lost a few quality players, lost Villanueva, lost Connor, lost the edge rusher, Bud Dupree. So, they did lose some quality players on that team, but they were able to keep the majority of their defense around. So we'll see. But, they have an offseason coming up next year to really kind of revamp that team. Who knows if Ben is going to be in there. Drop your questions in the chat. Frank will throw them up. Chris Gazzola says, how many interceptions has Darnold hand us in week 1? I mean, if you follow the trend, he averages at least 1 a game. So you have to think there'll be 1 or 2 or 3 interceptable passes, which is the new hot analytic term that the Jets can get their hands on. And it'll be a new defense with Robert Saleh and much improved pass rush. We'll see on the back end in that secondary, how the Jets will stack up. The Panthers do have a lot of quality weapons, not just Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey, but drafting Terrace Marshall. They have, I don't know why he's drawing a blank right now, DJ Moore, really good receiver. So there are a lot of weapons for Darnold to play with here. But I think, not to get into like an early breakdown of a game, the strength for the Jets here is that interior pass rush, which really throws Darnold off, and it throws most quarterbacks off. But the Jets' strength is their interior pass rush, and the Panthers' weakness is their interior offensive line. They signed Pat Elflein like right off the bat to a deal, who was like the Jets' 6th lineman last year. Really isn't any good. Didn't really improve that offensive line much. So if the Jets really want to hang their hat on something, and this is what Saleh wants to do, and Jeff Ulbrich, obviously their new defensive coordinator, is they want to hit you up front. They want to be physical with you. They want to get after the quarterback, and the Jets will be able to do that against the Panthers. But we'll see on the outside and how they'll be able to stack up with those guys. Nick says, who do you got week 1 Sunday Night Football? Bears, Rams? I mean, as it's going right now, the Rams, I mean, I'm a big Stafford fan. That defense should give whoever's playing quarterback, whether it's a rookie in Justin Fields or Andy Dalton, who's just, and if you even consider him middle of the pack, probably on the lower end of that, will give that offense some trouble. So I'm not going to bet against Aaron Donald against a team like that. Do you think Darnold will be better in Carolina or still be the same? I think a little bit of both. I think he'll still be the same turnover prone. How can I say it nicely? Lame, not much energy. But I do think he'll have better players and better coaching, so he'll be better at kind of the smaller things. The game plan will be better. He'll be able to use his strengths, which is getting out of the pocket, making some plays happen there. But I do think he'll really kind of be the same guy as he was with the Jets, maybe just with some better options on the outside. So if he was like a 68, in New York, he'll be like a 72 with the Panthers, maybe, if that, to use like our Madden scale. J Meg says, do we know the Jets home opener yet? No, I haven't seen anything. Like I mentioned before, it'll probably be like a divisional home game week 2, because it's sandwiched between 2 road games, obviously Panthers and then the Broncos week 3. So my guess would be like the Pats week 2. Go over the Colts schedule, Harry wants to know. So if we can let's see if we can bring up some, bear with me here. I'm going to try and bring up some live, but Frank's got it here. Their opponents, obviously Texans, Jags, Titans, the division teams. The Jets, they're playing week 9 on a Thursday night. Pats, Seahawks, Rams, Raiders, Bucks. And then the division road games, then you have Bills, Dolphins, Cardinals, 49ers, Ravens. I'm going to see what we have out there on the Twitter world to kind of go through if really anything leaked. You just really see week 1, obviously Seahawks at Colts, which is a good one. I don't have anything. I'll keep an eye on that for you. And if we have anything popping up throughout the show, we'll throw it up there for sure. So we'll be posting that. I don't have anything right now. So sorry about that, but again, we're doing it live, so we'll see. We'll go throughout the show and post them if we see them. I think as the season goes on, Darnold will actually have the coaching and have the chance to develop. Yeah, for sure, Nick. I just mentioned like he will have the better coaching and he'll have better weapons, but does he have too much? Does he have too much bad? Coaching that's been just like deeply instilled into him, and can he get out of that? That's really what it's going to be for Darnold besides the weapons. Go ahead.
Nick, trust me right now. The Sam Darnold era is over, bro. It's been over. It never started. It's done. So, Nick, the Sam Darnold that we thought we were going to get out of USC, the 3rd overall pick in the draft, he's never going to be who we thought he was. That's just what's going to happen. I'm sorry to burst people's bubble, but that's how it is,
I agree
man.
with you. I think the problem with him was he he's so and look, as a quarterback, you want to be even keeled and you want to be able to, not be so high after a good play and not be so low after a bad play. But with him, the energy isn't there. Like, you don't see any kind of like, strong leadership on the field. I'm not saying he's a bad dude. Everybody in the locker room likes him, but you don't get any of that like edge to him. And I was waiting for that like the entire Jets career. And I think he was just so battered by the Todd Bowles era, the Adam Gase era, the New York media. It all just got to him. And instead of like beasting and becoming a great quarterback, I think he just kind of succumbed to it really and just became a really like just a wet noodle. That's really what I compare him to, because there's nothing there. It's just a ho-hum, like, oh, gee, like, whatever. I'm just going to play the quarterback position because I'm talented and I went to USC. There was no edge to him. He didn't really make anybody better. And the funny thing is with Robbie Anderson, like, you could tell he doesn't want to play with Sam Darnold. It's funny, like, the post and excitement about it. Like, he's like, shit, I just had to play with
Nick,
this.
are you concerned? Are you concerned with Zach Wilson with the same things you were concerned with Darnold coming out of college? Do you see any comparables?
No, because
between?
I don't see any of the turnover issues. I mean, there's none at all. 3 interceptions last year. The issue and I see a lot more edge to Zach Wilson and excitement and energy than I saw with Darnold. The thing with Wilson is obviously the level of competition, and then coming to New York, like, he's going to have better coaching. He's going to have better receivers already out the gate for sure. I mean, I saw a tweet comparing like Darnold's 2018 rookie season receivers, like Quincy Enunwa. Who's the dude for the Browns that came here? Terrell Pryor was like their number 2 receiver, and Robbie Anderson before he had a good year. This year, you fast forward, it's Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, Keelan Cole. Like, that's a really deep, solid. Obviously, they don't have the number 1 receiver that's going to wow you yet, but that's 5 deep that can play in the NFL.
Yeah, I love Keelan Cole, man. I think he's a sleeper. I was saying this.
Underrated.
I'm a big Keelan Cole fan. Yeah, whenever he gets the ball, he makes something happen. He's a good player. Yeah. Underrated.
They got a lot of guys that can go up and get it, which is a good thing. Like, Denzel Mims can go up and get the ball. Keelan Cole can go up and get the ball. Corey Davis obviously can use his size and get it. And then you got Moore, and if they keep
What do you
Crowder,
think of Corey Davis this year, Nick? What's realistic production there? Do you think he's going to be our clear-cut, most productive receiver? What do you think? It's going to be Crowder, Mims? Like, if you had to say which Jets receiver is going to be the number 1 guy? Outside
of, like, Denzel Mims, like, I personally, when I was grading out the receivers, thought Mims had that number 1 receiver potential, that like 12,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns, coming into the draft, not when he landed with the Jets. But I had him as like the wide receiver 5, I believe, that year, besides, Jefferson, Judy, Lamb. I thought he was better than Henry Ruggs, in my opinion. I wasn't high on Ruggs at all. So I had him like number 1 potential. He had a few good solid games, didn't play much. Gase buried him after the injury, obviously. But I think Mims has more potential than Corey Davis, but I think Corey Davis's floor is a lot lower. And Corey Davis would have had 1,000 yards last year. I think he missed 3 games. He still had 900 and something yards in an offense that was, you had A.J. Brown and you had Derrick Henry. I mean, the volume was way heavily shifted in their favor. I think he'll get more of the volume here in New York than he did in Tennessee. So he should be able to have 1,000 yards. I know in this offense, the San Francisco offense, if that's what, is coming along with LaFleur, they like to spread it around. So I'm not sure if like he'll get like that 30 to 40% share, target share. But I think if he's healthy and he's playing, like, he should be able to put up 1,000 yards in the NFL. I mean, teams have like 3 guys that do it now. So I like Davis. I like him as a competitor.
I like the way that the Jets are constructing their wide receiving core. I like it. I think you have Corey Davis, who plays across the middle, not a deep threat. Mims is deep. Crowder's across the middle on one side in the slot, and then you have Elijah Moore on the other side. So I like how they constructed their receiving core. I think that's important. You don't want 2 burners necessarily. You don't want just slot receivers. You want a deep threat, takes the top offs, and then opens up the middle, which Corey Davis can do. And then you have the slot underneath with Crowder and Elijah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Someone's going to be left out, though, if they're all healthy. You have Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Crowder, and Moore. What is Zach Wilson going to throw for 5,000 yards? Which is possible at some point in his career, but not now. I mean,
I think, it gives you it gives you, and that's of course if Crowder is on the team because he's making $10 million. I don't think they should cut him.
Yeah,
it's not like the Jets need the cap room, and they definitely aren't in a position to get rid of weapons for a rookie quarterback. I mean, this guy could be his best friend because the Jets don't have that tight end, which is the one thing they're probably missing. So Crowder can kind of fill that security blanket role for you. So I don't think getting rid of him would be smart, but I don't know if it's set in stone that he's back. So, it gives you a chance to ease Elijah Moore into the offense and get him more, you put him in the backfield, give him jet sweeps, like throw him the ball, right out of the backfield, like use him as another running back. So I think, he's going to be more of like a gadget guy week one. So I don't think he's going to be that guy where you expect him to, burst on the scene as like 1,000-yard receiver in his rookie season. So I think there'll definitely be enough because they're going to throw the ball a lot. I mean, this is just the type of offense. Yeah, they're going to run it. And you set everything up through the run, and you want to run the ball when you have a rookie quarterback. But LaFleur is going to want to air it out. I mean, hey, he's trying to build a resume for a head coaching job too, so don't forget that.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's going to be a fun year. I think I like Salah.
Yeah.
I think the energy he's bringing is exactly what we need. I just hope it doesn't fizzle out. I hope they can put together a system there that has longevity, that's creative. I am a little bit concerned about our running game. I think Salah's going to need a running game there. We do have a nice offensive line. You want to utilize that in some way, not just in pass pro. So I want to see if they're going to be able to develop some sort of running game with Tevin Coleman and the cast there. I think we need a running back at some point also, to be honest.
I mean, Nick brings up a good point. Michael Carter in the 4th round that like everybody's really excited about. Yeah, I think he's going to – fan. Go ahead. Sorry, you're breaking up.
No, I am a fan. I just don't know if he can handle the workload. I mean, is he going to be able to handle 25 carries in a game if he's got a hot hand? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to – the type of back that he is, I don't think you're going to be like a workhorse back where he's going to be pounding it. And Nick brought up a good point in his comment. I think he's going to do well in that zone blocking scheme. I think, kind of the spell, I don't know, how much can you expect from Tevin Coleman? 12 touches a game maybe, and then sprinkle in like Ty Johnson. Nick says Michael Carter, I think, is the Jets' most under-talked player, someone who will win you 2 to 3 games this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about how much a rookie running back is going to win you a lot of games. I mean, look, James Robinson ran for 1,200 yards, I think, last year, 1,100. He was awesome, and they won 1 game. I don't think a running back is going to be the reason they're winning games. Look, it could. I mean, he could be great. Like, got a great burst, great vision. I mean, he's got what you want in this kind of offense, and the Jets wanted him earlier in the 3rd round. They didn't have the 3rd-round picks after they traded for Farrah Tucker. So they were excited that he was there to start the 4th round. So I think he's going to be a piece that they use a lot for sure. So, again, I don't think you can trust Tevin Coleman to handle it. What's up?
Nick, trivia question. How many games in Tevin Coleman's career has he had over 20 carries? He's played. I mean,
he's always been in a rotation.
Yeah, he's played in getting in here. About 100 games. He's played in 96 games. How many times has he had over 20 carries, Tevin Coleman?
I'm going to guess it's really low because you're asking, I don't know, like 3? 0. Wow.
Yeah,
well, what about
isn't that
receptions
crazy?
Too? I mean, because he's
0. Never had a game over 20 carries.
Wow, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, he's a 12-touch guy at this point of his career if he makes the team. So, I mean, I think he will because he's got the experience with LaFleur and the coaching staff. So, I saw Kerryon Johnson when he was waived. I thought he would have been a good fit in this offensive, zone scheme. Eagles claimed him. The Dolphins had a claim in for him. We'll see what happens, if he makes the roster or not. Chris, how can the Jets best utilize the speed of Carter and Moore? Put them on the field at the same time in the backfield. I think the confusion that you can create there. Obviously, jet sweeps. You can run a lot of options even, or give the ball to Moore on some handoffs. But I think if you have them both on the same the field at the same time, a lot of speed, a lot of yak. Different things that the Jets, I mean, we've been used to like some Stone Age offense. So getting them, again, the Jets don't have that tight end. Chris Herndon stinks. We'll see what Kenny Yeboah, the undrafted guy, who the Jets are very high on, what he does. Again, it'll be tough to expect a lot from an undrafted guy coming right out. But the lack of the tight end in this offense will open up a lot of options for Carter and for Moore. So
the other thing is Denzel Mims is going to, and whoever's playing tight end will affect how much we're able to utilize their speed. If Mims is taking the top off, you're going to have safeties dropping back. So that opens up the middle for Carter and Moore to be able to operate underneath. That's really key for these guys. The Chiefs do it perfectly. Obviously, they're an ideal situation. But when you have Tyreek Hill going deep, that opens up the middle for Travis Kelce. That opens up the middle for Sammy Watkins. So for receivers to be able to operate there, because your safeties are having to drop back in a cover 2 or whatever, cover 3, and they can't play up. They can't guard the middle of the field. So if Denzel Mims is becoming a deep threat, it's going to help out Corey Davis. And then if Corey Davis is making plays, then you're going to have Carter and Moore underneath being able to get yak because safeties are out of position. So I think that's important. It's got to all be synchronous and in unison. So
I agree, and I think that's what's going to miss. I think that's what's is missed right now. That when you look at what the Jets have playmaker wise going forward, the focus is going to shift towards getting that tight end. Like you said, Kelce, what him and Tyreek Hill are able to do, or what they're able to do with those two guys, and then Kittle in that San Francisco offense. When you have such a huge mismatch at the tight end spot, you can do so much, with your offensive game plan and mismatching the defenses. And if you look at where like the defensive sides, even in the draft, look what the Jets did in the draft with these safety hybrid linebackers. They're trying to get guys to cover the tight end in the NFL now, because these guys have become such a, hard position to game plan, and the best offenses are utilizing the tight end. So I think, not just the Jets, any team going forward, to find that like mismatch at tight end is huge in the NFL today. So last thing on the Jets, and I know we talk about them forever. Apologies to those who aren't Jet fans. Dan Hackett says, what's a realistic record for the Jets? I'm thinking 7-10, maybe 8-9. Yeah, I mean, they won 2 games last year. Year before that, they won, 4? Saleh in his first year and Wilson can come in and win, 6 games. I think and it depends on how you get there, right? If you start off 3-0 and lose a few and tank the rest of the way and you win 5 games, it's not great. But I think if you are anywhere from like 6 to 7 to 8 wins, like you'll be happy with that. Competitive games that matter. Like the Jets have been out of it by Columbus Day the past 8 years. So something, that you can at least go into the fall, into the winter and have some competitive games is a win for the Jets. But the Thanksgiving game, the London games are back. I thought that was cool. Kind of gives you I know there's 2 this year, week 5 with the Jets and Falcons, and then week 6 is the Dolphins at Jaguars. It gives you a sense of normalcy, which is cool that, everybody, I don't know, I guess I shouldn't speak for everybody, but I love that early morning game, and you go from 9:30 in the morning till 11:30 at night of just football action all day long. And it's only 2 weeks. It's not like it's 6 weeks where they're playing everybody in London. And I get it. A lot of people, especially West Coast, don't love a 6:30 in the morning game, especially if it's their team, which, this year it's all East Coast games. So seeing London games back, I personally like them. Jets Falcons week 5, that's October 10th. That's 2:30 London time. It's 9:30 a.m. here. Dolphins Jaguars October 17th, week 6. If the trend of what they've done in the past stands true, which I'm sure it will be, they'll have the week following as their bye week. So the Jets and Falcons will have a bye week 6. Dolphins Jaguars week 7. Rams Viking. I don't think so, Nick. I think they just announced two games in London this year. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. I'll check into that. But 6:30 on the West, that's tough. I will admit for West Coast fans, 6:30 in the morning game is I mean, I'm up personally, I would be all right with it, but I think 9:30 is the cutoff. Anything before that is really early, but it gives you a Frank's favorites, the keg and eggs. I know he's a big fan of those in Colgate. Get the keg and eggs rolling nice and early in the morning and just, go through to the IPAs by 1, 2 o'clock. And I don't know what you want to chase it with for the late games, but they did say, Sal, no Mexico City games this year.
Hell yeah.
Keg and eggs. Yeah. I mean, Frank, what do you think about the 9:30 London games? Are you a fan of them?
I actually love them. I wish they did more, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
It's cool to get a game out of the way early in the morning. Sometimes you're waiting until 1 and you're just, you're just waiting for the games to start. It's kind of nice to just have one streaming and you can kind of either it's fantasy, it has fantasy implications. You can put some money on it. There's some excitement in the morning. I hate just waiting until everything starts at 1. Then you get bombarded with 6 games or 8 games, and you're just out of it by 4. You're just like overwhelmed. I kind of like having a few games in the morning.
Yeah, I agree with you. I could see how fans who go to every home game are pissed when they lose a home game, like for the Falcons, for example. I wouldn't be thrilled with losing a home game, but actually as a road team, I actually like it a lot more. You don't have to go into, Atlanta fans are crazy. That dome is a huge advantage for the Falcons. The Jets going to a neutral site, I don't know if the stadium is an indoor stadium in London. It could be, but, not playing a team like the Falcons at home is an advantage for the Jets there. But, the Jaguars don't really have a huge home field advantage. I guess, I would say the weather maybe is an advantage if they're playing a team in a cold weather city, but Miami to Jacksonville isn't much of an advantage weather-wise. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll kind of wrap it up in a few. We kind of went through the schedule, and again, stay tuned to Lambeau Leapers Live later on today. We'll post that out. We'll go over the Packers schedule, Play Like a Jet Live. That's around 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. To go through the Jets schedule, and then Timeout with uSTADIUM tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll roll through the schedules as well. Subscribe to the YouTube. We'll be streaming here always as live breaks. We're going to do a lot more of these live breaking news. I know Splash and Frank did one on the NBA with Russell Westbrook's triple doubles the other day. Jason Kidd is better than Russell Westbrook. I don't care what you say. Download the uSTADIUM app.
I should agree with you there. Jason Kidd is getting so screwed in all these rankings. People don't realize Jason Kidd carried the Nets twice to the finals, championship. Yep. And if it wasn't for the Lakers and the Spurs, he would have a ring right now. So people need to give Jason Kidd
played 2 of the biggest dynasties. The Lakers and Spurs were like historic teams.
Yeah, no, Jason Kidd's better in an all-time ranking than Russell Westbrook. And I love
and
Russell
he played
Westbrook.
In a different era, too. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't see them live, a lot of younger kids, but, got to respect Kidd for sure. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Download the uSTADIUM app. We'll check it out for all updates, and we'll be back. Thanks for hopping on.
Nick, what's for lunch? I'm hungry. 12 o'clock. What are you eating? Turkey?
That's a good question. No, I made ground turkey last night with some peppers and onions.
Ooh. You didn't take a picture for me. I wanted to see how it came out. I can send you.
Actually, I don't have I have a bowl left over in the fridge if you want it.
All right, yeah.
Feels like a chicken cutlet day. I don't know. Maybe I'll hit up cutlets.
Today is a cutlets day. Oh yeah, today it's always a cutlets day. When is it not?
That's a good point. That's very true. All right, everybody. We'll see you. We'll be back. Lambeau Leapers again. Play Like a Jet Live. Timeout with uSTADIUM tomorrow. Signing off. Take care, everybody.